Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Study More. So today we are going to do 30 plus MCQs of Science Standard 7 Chapter 1, that is Nutrition in Plants. So in this I will also give explanation of the questions. So let's start with the first question. So first question is, which of the following are the nutrients? A. Carbohydrates, B. Vitamins, C. Proteins, or D. All of the above? So, the correct answer is option D. All of the above. Carbohydrates, vitamins और proteins ये तीनों भी nutrients हैं. So let's move on to the second question. Human beings can be categorized as A. Heterotrophs, B. Autotrophs, C. Parasites, or D. Saprotrophs. So, the correct answer is option A. Heterotrophs. Human beings are dependent on other things, whereas plants are not dependent on any other things and they make their own food. So, now let's move on to the third question. The food making process in plants is called as A. Glycolysis, B. Photosynthesis, C. Photolysis, or D. Chemosynthesis. So, the correct answer is option B. Photosynthesis. Plants make their own food with the help of photosynthesis and with the help of chlorophyll present in the leaves. So, now we will move on to the fourth question. Which part of the plant is called its food factory? A. Fruits, B. Seeds, C. Leaves, or D. Flowers. So, the correct answer is option C. Leaves, because in the leaves there is present chlorophyll, and because of the chlorophyll photosynthesis occurs and the food is created. So, we will now move on to the fifth question. Tiny pores present in the surface of the leaves through which gaseous exchange occurs are called. जो tiny pores होते हैं जिसमें gaseous exchange occur होता है उसको क्या बोलते हैं? A. Stomata, B. Guard cells, C. Food holes, or D. Gas holes. So the correct answer is option A. Stomata. टाइनी पोर्स होते हैं, होल्स होते हैं लीव्स में जिसकी वजह से फोटोसिंथेसिस occur होता है. And the stomata are surrounded by guard cell which protects it. So now we will move on to the next question. So the sixth question is, what is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms? A. Water energy, B. Wind energy, C. Solar energy, or D. Chemical energy. So the correct answer is option C. Solar energy. क्योंकि लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स के लिए द अल्टीमेट सोर्स जो होता है वो सन ही होता है, सनलाइट ही होता है. सो नाउ वी विल मूव ऑन टू द सेवेंथ क्वेश्चन. ग्रीन पिगमेंट present in the leaves is called A. Hemoglobin, B. Globulin, C. Albumin, or D. Chlorophyll. So the correct answer is option D. Chlorophyll. I have already told you before about this. Because in the leaves chlorophyll is present and the chlorophyll helps in the process of photosynthesis. Let's move on to the eighth question. During photosynthesis, plants A. Take oxygen and release carbon dioxide, B. Take carbon dioxide and release oxygen, C. Take carbon dioxide but do not release oxygen, or D. Take oxygen but do not release carbon dioxide. So the correct answer is option B. Take carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Like the plant take carbon dioxide from outside and releases oxygen, and then we breathe that oxygen in. So now we will move on to the ninth question. During photosynthesis, A. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy, B. Solar energy is converted into mechanical energy. C. Chemical energy is converted into mechanical energy. Or D. Bioenergy is converted into chemical energy. So the correct answer is option A. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy. This chemical energy forms in photosynthesis process. Let's move on to the 10th question. The raw material for photosynthesis are जो रॉ मटेरियल जो आउटसाइड लेते हैं प्लांट्स आउटसाइड से लेते हैं उसको क्या बोलते हैं ए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्लस ऑक्सीजन प्लस हाइड्रोजन सी नाइट्रोजन प्लस वाटर और डी ऑक्सीजन प्लस वाटर दिस इज अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन सो द करेक्ट आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड First, carbon dioxide is taken from the air and then oxygen is released. Let's move on to the 11th question. 11th question is the end products of photosynthesis are what is formed in the end of the process of photosynthesis? A. Carbohydrates and oxygen. B. Carbohydrates and hydrogen. C. Carbohydrates and water vapors. Or D. Carbohydrates, oxygen and water vapors. So, the correct answer is option A, carbohydrates and oxygen. Let's move on to the 12th question. Which one of the following is a parasite? A. Lichen. B. Cuscuta. C. Pitcher plant. Or D. Rhizobium. So, the correct answer is option B. Cuscuta. Cuscuta grows on host plant and make their food or take food from the host plant itself. Therefore, Cuscuta is a parasite. Let's move on to the 13th question. Which of the following class of organisms belongs to saprotrophs? A. Fungi. B. Algae. C. Lichens. D. Bryophytes. So, the correct answer is option A. Fungi. Like fungi grows on dead decaying matters. For example, bread or roti if we keep it for more than 2 to 3 days. So fungi are known as saprotrophs. Let's move on to the 14th question. Which one of the following is a pair of symbiotic organisms? A. Lichens. B. Rhizobium and a legume. C. None of these. Or D. Both A and B. So the correct answer is option D. Both A and B. Lichens, rhizobium and a legume, all these are symbiotic organisms. Let's move on to the 15th question. Which one of the following is an insectivorous plant? A. Pitcher plant. B. Indian telegraph plant. C. 4 o'clock plant. Or D. Cuscuta. So, the correct answer is option A, pitcher plant, as pitcher plants feeds on insects and depends on other living things. So now we will move on to the 16th question. What does all organisms take and utilize it to get energy for the growth and the maintenance of their bodies? ऑर्गेनिजम्स क्या लेते हैं जिसकी वजह से ग्रोथ एंड मेंटेनेंस होता है उनके बॉडी का ऑप्शन ए फूड बी वाटर सी एयर और डी सनलाइट दिस इज अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन वी ऑल नो दैट सो द correct answer is option A food is important for the growth and maintenance of the bodies of all organisms. So now we will move on to the next question. So the 17th question is green plants are also known as A. Photoheterotrophs, B. Autotrophs, C. Heterotroph or D. Saprotroph. This already I have explained. So the correct answer is option B. Autotroph. because green plants make their own food. That is why they are known as autotrophs. Let's move on to the 18th question. So the 18th question is, which energy is stored by the leaves with the help of chlorophyll? A. Radiant energy, B. Electrical energy, C. Solar energy, or D. Sound energy. So the correct option is option C. Solar energy. Chlorophyll is present in the leaves and it stores sunlight in the leaves. Because of that, photosynthesis occurs and the food is created. So now we will move on to the 19th question. 19th question is, what derive nutrition from dead decaying matter? A. Algae, B. Fungi aprotrophs, C. Yeast, D. Plants. This also I have already explained. So this is very easy. So the correct answer is option B, fungi aprotrophs. And fungi is a type of saprotroph. So now we will move on to the next question. Plants like Cuscuta takes food from which plant? A. Host, B. Itself, C. Pitcher plant, or D. None of these. This also I have explained. So the correct answer is option A, host. 21st question is, Cuscuta grows on other animals and categorized they take their food from that plant A, autotrophs, B, so now we will move on to the next question. C, saprotrophs, or D, chemotroph. This is also very easy. The correct answer is option B, heterotroph, because animals are dependent on other animals and other plants. That is why they are known as heterotrophs. Now we will move on to the next question. What is produced during photosynthesis? A. Hydrogen, B. Nitrogen, C. Oxygen, or D. Carbon dioxide. So the correct answer is option C. Oxygen. Oxygen is produced, that is, and it is released after the process of after the process when it takes carbon dioxide in and then it releases oxygen. So now we will do choose whether the statements are true or false. You have to choose that the statements are true or false. Let's start. Food is essential for all living organisms. So this statement is a true statement. Food is essential for all the living organisms. Now we will move on to the second question. Leaves are the food factories of plant. So this statement is also true because leaves has chlorophyll in it and because of that photosynthesis occurs. Now we will move on to the third question. Water comes into leaves through stomata in the form of vapors. So this is a false statement. Water do not come into the leaves with the form of vapors. Let's move on to the fourth question. Plants utilize the carbon dioxide dissolved in the water absorbed by the roots for photosynthesis. So, this is a false statement. Let's move on to the fifth question. The sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. Is it true or false? So, this statement is a true statement. Sixth question is, algae are saprotrophs. So this is a false statement. Algae are not saprotrophs. Seventh question is, Cuscuta is a parasite. So this is a true statement because Cuscuta grows on other host plants. Eighth question is, saprotrophs take their food in solution form from decaying matter. So this statement is a true statement. Let's move on to the ninth question. Insectivorous plants are partial heterotrophs. So this statement is a true statement because Pitcher plant feeds upon insects and it is partial heterotroph as it is dependent on other things. So the last question is plants take atmospheric nitrogen through stomata and utilize as a nutrient. So this statement is a false statement. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and मिलते हैं आपको next video में. So see you in the next video. Bye.